which is a sensationalizing question to convey that there is no trust. Every time. Imagine every election after election you give Agni Pariksha and you ask people in Tripura what is the headline. The violence is voted out. On each booth, people were not allowed to go. There were bombs. There is violence left in certain states. So, it is for you to decide, but we can assure you that as we have been doing in every election, and it is the institution of the ECI which is so strong that nobody can do a wrong thing. Even if somebody wants to do, it cannot do. Thank you very much.
So, what do you have to say about this? Wait a minute. Sir, what do you have to say about the Supreme Court order?
Tell you. Let's finish. Yeah. The PBTGs have a population of 30,517 and all of them have been enrolled as the electors this time, 100%. And there would be 40 ethnic polling stations also in tribal areas for the PBTGs. Similarly, the transgenders. There are 42,756 transgender in the state, and we have registered 41,312. Every person has a right to vote and participate in the festival of democracy. So the women, youth, urban areas, PBTGs, old age, transgender, everybody is a focus of the Election Commission, that everybody participates in the election. I'll now give you this was the electoral part. I'll give you an overview of the polling stations. The total number of polling stations in the state is 58,282, with an average voter per polling station being 883. We will have, as a part of our empowerment, as I mentioned recently, we'll have 1,320 booths which will be managed only by women staff, all women. Similarly, 224, one in each constituency booth would be managed by the persons with disability. So it's not that they are dependent on us, they will show that we can also equally perform and we'll manage the entire booth. This is our small tribute to them to show and make them empowered. And through the process of this, the entire society becomes fully sensitized towards the needs and towards the appreciation of the PWDs. We have also started that in order to address the youth, whosoever is the youngest employee of the government, we are setting up 224 booths to be managed by our youth employees, young employees also. 50% of, as of now, 50% of the booths would be direct webcast. The sensitive booths have, I'll tell you about the sensitive booths also. There are 1,200 critical polling stations. Of those, there would be either webcast direct or there would be a micro observer. So in some way or there would be CAPF. Either of the three as an added precaution, seeing the sensitivity of those elections. Cumulatively, they would be managed by an extra sense of precaution. Just to show you some kind of attempt we would be making to make the polling stations very friendly, your voting experience being very conducive and in the true sense of the festival of democracy. This is to enhance the voters' experience at the polling station. Just a glimpse will be, our DCs will be doing, setting up polling stations, model polling stations to facilitate the voting. As regards the assured minimum facilities, each polling station would have facilities of drinking water, electricity, ramp and toilet. And since it would be heat time also, they would also have shades. Commission has also started a new taking endeavor. We are taking it on ourselves again to say that the infrastructure in the schools should not be of temporary nature. You see, this is a wasteful expenditure that every time election comes and in the schools we create temporary infrastructure. So we are emphasizing that now the infrastructure in the schools would be permanent. And we are hopeful that in Karnataka, the infrastructure in terms of drinking water, electricity, ramp, toilet would be of a permanent nature in all these schools. So that's a kind of a gift of the election to the schools, to the students. They have separate toilets, boys and girls. They have ramp. PWD students have ramp. So this is also one, and which they are in any case entitled to have under right to education. So we are trying to enforce this so that all these schools have this permanent infrastructure, and we don't have to create all the time some kind of temporary infrastructure. About the urban apathy, this is not a very healthy sign. If you look at the data, in 2018 the average voting in Karnataka was 72.44%, and in 2013-17 1.83%. And look at the urban areas of yours. BBMP South, BBMP North, Central, Bangalore Urban. Lowest voter turnout in these districts. So we are taking special efforts, special sweep activities, special promotional activities. This includes this has the combined factors of urban apathy and also the youth apathy. And unfortunately, this decreased from 2013 to 2018 across these four constituencies. Say for instance, it reduced in urban Bangalore from 62% in 13 to 57% in 2018. So we are confident that with the help of you all, you will also help us in spreading this message to the urban areas, including yourself, all of you. So this is the trend which we witnessed in the last recently held elections also. We saw it in Shimla, we saw it in areas in Rajkot. So we are constantly bringing it to the notice and to the fore as a discussion point amongst the youth and amongst the urban areas to sensitize them that it is their duty and it is in their interest that they participate in the elections. So I am sure that you would convey this message of ours to this slide. We are keeping it a little longer so that you can absorb it and get it absorbed further. It's India's IT hub, and actually the IT hub of the world now. The message given by everybody from Bangalore has a potential and has a ripple effect that if we can put here, other urban areas of the country would all follow suit. We are very confident that this would happen this time here. We yesterday met large number of CEOs, university vice chancellors, professors, students, and we really saw a kind of enthusiasm in them. That yes, they have not been exposed to this kind of apathy earlier, so they realized, understood that the issue of urban apathy and youth apathy is mainstream now. It's in a discussion. It's on a discussion table. So I'm sure that this will happen. And in this way, we also started an election hackathon. A hackathon, we are saying, it's light of this. We are thankful to the Institute of IISc and also Triple IIT. They are doing it for us in collaboration with them. So the questions which are being set in two phases. The first phase starts and will end till March 10. It started from 10 and for 21 days, which would be how to enhance participation of urban and youth voters. So it's everybody can participate in this electhon. Kindly, my request is to popularize it. We want to get as many suggestions and solutions from the enlightened people of Karnataka so that it can spread into the other states also. And how to ensure registration of new voters in a better way. Though our apps are very apt, but still if there is a scope, and devise solutions that can boost voter turnout on election day. So, a request to everyone here, with the help of the enlightened voters, to suggest us so that we can improve these participation, not only in Karnataka but follow this in the other states also whenever we witness these kind of apathy. Friends, being in the IT city, I'll mention about the IT applications of the commission, which can be used during the polling, during the election. Anybody can check his or her name on the electoral roll in this helpline application, which is a very handy application. You can know your booth, you can connect to your BLO, RLO, you can see results, you can see all election trends, you can find about EVMs, whatever you want to know is a voter helpline. Please find time to go through this, it will be helpful. The next is Saksham. This is about voters interface. The Suvidha is for the interface with the political parties and candidates, so that candidates don't have to run here and there. They can file nominations and affidavits online. They can also seek permission for rallies and other things online. And we have directed all our DCs, all our DOs, AROs, that the permissions for the meetings and other rallies and other entitlements would be strictly on first in, first out basis, so that there is a level playing field available. Whosoever applies for a land first, whichever candidate will get it first, so that there is no bias at the level of the election machinery. And since this will have a digital trail, a time stamp through the app, this can be easily monitored. Saksham app I spoke about. This is for our friends, our enlightened voters or persons with disability. This is a very important initiative again, and this is called as Know Your Candidate. So what does it mean? All candidates' criminal records, if any, would be available on this application. So as soon as nominations are filed, and if there is a criminal record of any candidate, it will be uploaded on this website. Not only this, the candidates will have to publish on 3 different occasions in 3 newspapers necessarily about their own criminal background. This app will also have the details of their assets, liabilities, everything you want to know about a candidate would be available. And in addition, the political parties will also have to publish on their website and on the social media platforms and also in newspapers, one national and one regional, about the reasons that they selected the person candidate with a criminal background. They'll have to explain, they will have to make the voters aware that as to what are these compelling reasons that they could not select anybody other than a person with a criminal background. So this is for empowering our voters, that before they exercise their right to vote, they have a full right to know about the candidates also. Friends, at every stage, as we say, a roll to poll, electoral rolls to the polling, there are 2 basic pivots on which we work, which is disclosure and which is transparency. So every time, in all processes, political parties and candidates are involved. It's an updation of electoral roll, standing committee meetings, FLC, EVM movement, booth level agents, polling agents, counting. At every stage, every process is transparent and candidates are allowed to participate in it. So this is to ensure that they have the fullest possible confidence in the system. Storage of EVMs, this is all notified in advance as to which routes they will take, where they will go. EVMs warehouses they can stay there, candidates. Though all EVM warehouses have 3 layers of security. One by the innermost circle by the CAPF, The second circle by the state armed police, and third by the district police. Still, they are videographed, there are CCTVs, but still candidates or their agents can stay. If I just narrate to you for participating in the Festival of Democracy and tell you, each state has a different set of challenges when we go and do the elections. But what we are trying to do, that the challenges that particular state has are tackled. If you look at these recently held elections, just last 5, this becomes close to how many? Roughly 66,000 booths in 4 states. There was not even one re-poll on any of these states, any of the booths. Gujarat, Himachal, Meghalaya, Tripura, all 4 put together, around 66,000 booths, there was not even one re-poll. When we went to Tripura, the headlines, if you would see in newspapers, were that Tripura votes out violence. That was the problem there. So, we have specific problems which all of you know in Karnataka also. Will come to that. But the point I am trying to say, that percentage of voting in all these states is either same or increasing. And so is the case about the peacefulness of the elections and participation. You can see on our website and on our CEO's websites large queues from the beginning, from 6 o'clock itself in the morning, because the voting starts there in the eastern parts at 7. So this is just to say that how participative it is, and again to show and enthuse the voters from Karnataka and Bangalore to come and participate in the elections. The seizures, this is in particular I am showing here because it has direct relation to Karnataka also. I will come to this. Karnataka has, we are aware, has a major concern, which is use of money power. We will talk about it. But just to show you that as against 43 crores seizures in 2018-17 elections, in these recently held 5 state elections, we have been able to seize close to 1,000 crores. We have started our meetings with all enforcement agencies in Karnataka also. We met with agencies like State Police, Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, Central GST, State GST, Excise, Income Tax, CBIC, Coast Guard, everyone. ED, airports, movement of helicopters, airplanes, unchartered flights, borders, state borders, manning, to ensure what? To direct them and to ensure that illegal and irregular use or inflow of any freebie or money or liquor is strictly guarded and not allowed to happen. This is what is the clear direction given to the enforcement agencies, and I am sure that they would start working on this with far more seriousness. And in any case, when the MCC comes into being, our special focus would be on this. All these are the agencies who have been specifically directed, including Coast Guard and everyone. And I must tell you, they have been also directed that even the vans of the banks who are carrying cash for ATMs and all would not move after 5 o'clock in the evening till 10 o'clock in the morning. Because at times those vans are also used to carry illegal cash. So all these are the actions. Air Intelligence Unit would keep watch on all the unscheduled chartered flight helicopters so that nothing is transported through them. We'll also keep strict watch on online bribery or distribution of money through wallets or through those kind of things. Banks will keep strict watch on it. From one account there is no bulk transfer. The bribery to voters is a thing which is disturbing trend, and it is against the principles of democracy. So we are very serious about it. We want inducement-free elections. The kind of distributions which are reported, the kind of feasts and distributions and sarees and electronics, is all that we will keep a watch, and we'll see that a strong action is taken if anyone is involved in those kind of activities. There have also been, we'll also set up social media cells so that the fake narratives, deep fakes are not able to influence the elections. A strict watch will also be kept on all the warehouses, godowns, wherever the freebies can possibly be stored or can be distributed from. Next. And for this, how you can help us in this? Please, through your medium, I want to appeal again, please popularize this. This is an application again which we have made called the C Vigil. C means actually citizens be vigilant. If there is anything which the citizens feel is wrongly happening in the society, somebody is distributing money, somebody is distributing freebies or anything, defacing the property, doing irregular activities, anything, they can write through this app from their mobile or take a photo and upload it. If they want to be anonymous, that is also possible. They may not give their name. But what will happen, we'll take the location, latitude and longitude of the person from where the picture is loaded, and our nearest police QRT will ensure that there is a QRT in a range of 5 to 6 kilometers. The system will automatically guide the nearest QRT, which will reach that place and report back within 100 minutes. People have used this application in other elections. This the kind of seizures which increased are because of this. This is also one reason that our intelligence increased, and the common man who always gets affected by these kind of irregular things have felt motivated to inform us. And our system is automated. The moment we get the let-long, the moment we get the complaint, it goes to the nearest check post, unit, QRT and sector magistrate, and they reach there and report in 100 minutes time. So please popularize this. We'll be very thankful to you that you have enabled us through your citizens to kind of help in seizing all this. Friends, coming to an end, elections after elections, media has been our closest ally. You have been eyes and ears of the Commission. It's only through you that we hear the whatever is happening. You report and it comes to our notice. So we also appeal to you at this juncture that please, on our behalf, help us in next 1.5 months to popularize and to tell your voters to at least come and vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll take some questions. Before you ask, I would request you to please introduce yourself and then begin your question. Here on the right. We'll take a few questions before sir answers those.
Just 1 second.
Hello, sir.
1 second.
Siddharth Patel, TV18.
Will you identify yourself, please? I thought that was the last thing.
But I want to know why you have removed this 2018 academic data from your website, because that is a very crucial thing. If you want to make a comparison between how much wealth was made, how much wealth was there in, of these candidates in 2018 and now in 2020.
Is it removed? Okay.
There was another question here, TV18.
Hello, sir.
Beside?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Siddharth Patel, TV18. Sir, can the people of Karnataka trust the election commission that a free and fair election will be held?
Hello? Yeah?
This is Shruti from Legendary. You spoke about urban and youth apathy. I just want to know what are the other challenges as far as Karnataka's demography is
concerning.
So,
One second, one second.
so Devaras from the New Indian Express. How are you going to address the concern of opposition parties? Yesterday only they have petitioned you with regard to EVMs. There are apprehensions that they have come from Gujarat and Uttar Pradesh. Is it rubbish or there is something in it? How are you going to address this?
Sir, will you take these?
Mr. Mayor,
One more.
Vijay from Division Invest. I am Vijay from Division Invest. As per sources, BJP is believed to push for election in 3 phases. So, however, what commission will take on this action? I mean, it can conduct the how much phase election. Another question is, Congress
One
has
is behind
no,
phases.
this is important question. Congress has requested to change top 4 ranking officials in the view of the elections. So, could you take any actions or you deal with this?
Hello, sir.
Can I answer this and then come back?
Let's finish it.
Let me finish this.
Take the next set of questions.
2018 data which you mentioned from the website, we will check. It should be normally available to you so that you can make comparisons. So we will check it and come back to you. But principally it should be available to you so that you can check as to what is happening over the period 2018 to 2022, how it increased, how it decreased, what happened. Taking your point, we will come back to you on this. Other than the urban and youth apathy, what are the other challenges? See, there are 2-3 other challenges. One is that one has to be extremely careful about the fake narratives on the social media. This is what is a general trend, which is a problem world over. Wherever elections are held, wherever any issue is available for creating that rift, the fakes, deep fakes, false news creates a problem and tries to fish in the troubled waters. We are very conscious of this fact, so this is one challenge for us which we have identified for ourselves. Secondly, as I mentioned, misuse of money is another challenge which we have identified for ourselves, and we want to peaceful state. And we want to ensure that during the election it doesn't get disturbed in any way. About the phases, this is entirely and purely Election Commission's prerogative. Nobody can interfere in this at all. This is dependent on number of factors, which is availability of force, exams, heat, festivals, past trends. We'll look at all this, the threats, the possibility of disturbance in the law and order, all that put together. The purpose of coming here is to meet everybody. After meeting, we take our view, we take our decision after going back to Delhi. And first time, anybody who comes to know how many phases and when, it is only the press who comes to know. We do a press conference and not even a minute before anybody can come to know of it. People are free to make their suggestions. That is the right of every political party. They made suggestions to us. Many of them asked for single phase. Some of them asked for multi-phase. So that's a right. That is why we first, when we come, we meet political parties. So we'll take a view on that. About change of officials, every officer has been duly sensitized and instructed to be extremely fair and to provide level playing field to everybody. All political parties, all candidates. Anybody found wanting will just be dealt very strongly. That's the message which has been conveyed to everybody. Nobody can be allowed in the times of elections to have any partiality towards any candidate, anybody, any party or any candidate. If commission finds, you can see from the past elections, election after election, whenever we find somebody, we take strongest possible action and in a quickest possible manner. And same will happen here. Whatever feedbacks have come, those feedbacks go through a process of cross verification, which we will do. About EVMs, what did you ask exactly? If a car comes from Maharashtra to Bangalore, does it behave differently? Airplane coming, it's a machine. It has proved itself. It has gone through and by the way, in last 5 elections, there is not even one allegation on one of the EVMs. You must have seen this. This is a settled issue. There is no point raising it all over again, and nobody that way asked us also. So we bring it from Gujarat, or we bring it from Himachal, or we bring it from wherever. It's a very established system of randomization. Let me again explain to you. After the machines come, there is something called the FLC, where all political parties remain present. Even if it is a car which has come from Maharashtra or Gujarat or Delhi, that will again be said, please check it in front of everybody. Drive it yourself. Cast your vote. See the mock polling. Remove the mock polling result. And thereafter, every machine is randomized. That too in the presence of the candidates and their agents. So this poor machine doesn't know as to where would it go.
The Congress complaint against DGP, Director General of Police.
I have answered that question. I am not going into individuals. I have answered that question already. We are not discussing individuals here. This is very demoralizing for anybody. You have mentioned, I said we have noted it. It's whatever complaints or the feedback come, we have a very robust system of checking it. It goes through a process, and whenever elections are around, we look at microscope with each. Ultimately, the result is, it should not during the elections action should not be partisan in any way. That commission ensures, and we will ensure this. So I think I have answered. The one question left, trust on ECI, that I'll answer towards the end. Maybe somebody else wants to ask this. So that also I'll answer.
Your question, please.
Sir, Prajwal from Republic.
Which side? Yeah.
Sir, now we saw the numbers for Bangalore in 2018, so it's very shameful. So this time, will the outreach programs from the Election Commission be any different? Because they weren't effective if we are looking at the numbers. Pink booth did get in a lot of attention. We also saw that the voting increased as well. So will your approach change this time around?
The strategy for this is like this. We are identifying the low turnout booths. So we are starting from the booth. There is no point saying that this constituency has done this. Within that constituency, some booths might have done very good, and the others might have pulled down the average. So we are going booth by booth. The engagement, the medium of engagement, depending on the nature of the voters, it's very different from one area to another area. We'll customize it. We'll try and connect to them in a far more persuasive manner. We can request, and I am sure people will respond. The way you have asked it, people will definitely respond. Yeah.
Yeah, question this side. Your question, please.
This is Niranjan from Times of India. We talked about the money power being one of the major challenges. And with the present day mechanism, with a lot of tech intervention in terms of deposition, payment, and reception, how is that the Election Commission is going to keep tab on these electronic transactions other than the cash machine?
Okay.
Anyone else with a question?
So I'll take this last question and then come to the answer that side. One more.
What steps is the Election Commission taking to prevent corruption and bribery during the election?
Could you please repeat that?
No, I've got it. I have got it. Last question. Yeah, she was asking.
We'll have the last question.
Sir, you have reviewed the poll preparations in the last 2 days. Do you find the preparation satisfactory? Have any specific issues been raised by the AEROs or DOs during the review and the meetings with you?
And also,
So-
complementary to that question, that several parts of Karnataka, especially, we are likely to go into poll in peak summer time. So will there be any specific directions being given to the Deputy Commissioner or to the Chief Secretary?
Okay. So, money power. Let me specifically mention about the IT enabled ways to handle it, and also the legal provisions available to handle this. Each bank has been instructed to keep a watch in their own way and through their own systems, which we have detailed to them. I can't reveal it. Of anything which is beyond, which is suspicious. The systems have also been put in place to generate feeds and inform the enforcement agencies, relevant enforcement agencies. One. Secondly, also look at AI-wise the movement of goods, which you can see from eBay bill, which you can see from access consumption in the state beyond the averages. If suddenly electronics use has increased, cookers use has increased, you are sourcing more and more, you have ways to do this. So this is the technological part. Section 171B and 171E of the IPC very clearly mentions that giving a gratification to any person with the objective of inducing him or stopping to exercise any electoral right is punishable for 3 years imprisonment. This would be extensively used in case we find violations. So it's a combination of the legal framework available with us and also the AI-based IT tools available with us. And the C-Vigil, which I mentioned, has also really helped us. And if you were to really popularize it through your writings, we would be very empowered from the feedbacks of the citizen. And I tell you, citizens gives us the best feedback because that's coming from the ground itself. So that is one part. The second part is the preparedness of the DCs, SPs and others. So in terms of the infrastructural preparedness, polling stations are ready. They have visited. Wherever there are more than one location, there are more than 4 or 5 polling stations, they are opening up separate entries and gates. So all this logistical part in terms of crowd management, in terms of providing infrastructure, forces, movement, their stay, preparing checkposts, building additional checkposts in the state borders, meetings with the the districts of the borders across, all that has happened. But if you ask us, in terms of the preparedness and initiative to straightway start controlling the distribution of freebies and setting up those was lacking. We have told them, don't wait. They are actually saying, somewhere in the back of the mind, it must be that MCC has not come into play. We said, this is not necessary. You don't need a muhurtam for this. Please start your work. IPC empowers you to do this. So, persons will do it. Now, coming to the last thing, friend asked about the trust. Which paper was this? Somebody asked from this side. The
News 18.
News 18. Can we be trusted? This is what you asked. The question itself suggests something which I am not going into. But this is for everybody to know. Tripura, Meghalaya and Nagaland, the commission completed 400th election to the Legislative Assembly. 400th. I am announcing it first time here. I thought I'll do it in Delhi when we have our national conference, but since you asked this question. 18 times elections to the parliament, 16 times to president, 16 times to vice president. And country has close to 4,200 assembly constituencies. 400 elections means into 4,200 over a period of 70 years. Not even in one case the results have been disputed. The transition of power has taken place smoothly through the ballot, not by bullet. This is what Election Commission is. Please see, it is passing through much smoother than what it is happening in most of the developed countries recently. You must not forget the pictures which you must have seen from some of the developed countries. What happened after election? Election after election. And look at the country, if you look at 70 years, how we have stabilized. Social issues, political issues, geographical issues, linguistic issues. In this country, we are where we are is all because the democracy is established. And it is established because people trust our results. And still, election after election, we give Agni Pariksha every time. By the questions which you have asked and the questions akin to that kind of a question which has inbuilt, which is a sensationalizing question to convey that there is no trust. Every time. Imagine every election after election you give Agni Pariksha. And you ask people in Tripura, what is the headline? The violence is voted out. On each booth, people were not allowed to go. There were bombs. There is violence left in certain states. So, it is for you to decide. But we can assure you that as we have been doing in every election, and it is the institution of the ECI which is so strong that nobody can do a wrong thing. Even if somebody wants to do, it cannot do. Thank you very much.
So this is what you have to say about this. Wait a minute. Sir, what do you have to say about the Supreme Court order?
Tell you.
The
Let's
president
finish.
will appoint.